Andrei Vasilevskiy was drafted 19th overall in the 2012 NHL entry draft to the Tampa Bay Lightning. He is currently the team's starting goaltender, and he won the Vezina Trophy in the 2018-19 NHL year. As of when I'm recording this video, Vasilevskiy currently has 258 games played with a .255 goals against average and a save percentage of .919. On top of this, his current record is 158 wins, 72 losses, and 18 ties. Pretty good. Not a big deal. So without further ado, let's see what EA Sports predicts will happen in Andrei Vasilevskiy's career. I think it comes without surprise that the Tampa Bay Lightning pretty stacked. Alright, good team. Very good team here. Offense, they got that first line that is deadly. Second line, they got Pointer there at 89 overall. Defense, also very good. And 91 overall Vasilevskiy as their goalie. So certainly can't complain. After year one, the Tampa Bay Lightning finished with 116 points and 53 wins, finishing first in the division, and on top of that, taking home a President's Trophy. Overall, a very successful first year for the Lightning. 116 points is nothing to frown about, and especially not a President's Trophy. Andrei Vasilevskiy, 64 games played, 41 wins, only 13 losses and 6 overtime losses, a .912 save percentage and a .258 goals against average. The Vegas Golden Knights, however, would win their first Stanley Cup in this first year of simulation, and the Lightning would be eliminated in 6 games in round number 2. In year 2, the Tampa Bay Lightning roster is still looking very solid. Obviously, Stamkos and Kucherov deadly on that first line, and still got Pointer on the second line. Defense, still pretty good, and they still got Vasilevskiy at 91 overall in the net. So, again, should have a good year, and they did. 99 points, finishing second in the Atlantic, and that would get them 6th in the entire league. Not quite as good as a President's Trophy, but who really wants that thing anyway? It's pretty much cursed, I want to say at this point. Vasilevskiy playing 66 games this year with a record of 32, 20, and 9, 2 shutouts, a .915 save percentage, and a .275 goals against average. He's still up at 91 overall, and he has an 8x8 contract remaining there. Carolina winning the Stanley Cup in year number 2, and there is no hardware to be won for Andrei Vasilevskiy in year 2. I swear, when I simulate, this guy wins like the Maurice Rocket Richard. And yes, I know what that is, okay? Boston would eliminate the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round in 7 games. So the footage for this year, straight up Houdini'd my ass. I have no idea where it went. Just disappeared like a fart in the wind. No clue where this footage could have ran off to, but I could not locate it, so I can't show it. However, I do pull up Vasilevskiy's full career stats in the next year so we can see how he performed in this simulation year as well. The Colorado Avalanche went on to win the Cup this year, as you can see previous award winners in the award screen. Tampa Bay's roster still looking very solid here. They got a great offense, defense looking pretty solid as well, and they ended up getting a better backup goalie, but Vasilevskiy is still up there as a starter, 91 overall. However, the division was very tense this year, and Tampa Bay finishes 7th with 91 points with a record of 42 and 33, 7 overtime losses. The offense not really pulling their weight there as much as I would expect them to. Vasilevskiy finishing with a 31, 22, and 6 record, 905 and 290. He's now down to 90 overall, and as you can see here, here's his stats for this year and the previous year that I happened to miss. So a 914 and a 266 last year. Pretty good still. The Pittsburgh Penguins take home the Stanley Cup, and when it comes to individual awards, once again, Andrei Vasilevskiy is coming up short. No hardware to take home whatsoever. Here is the lineup for the Bolts in year number 5. Pointer now taking over that first line center position. Defense still looking solid. And in net, Vasilevskiy is still at 90 overall with Alnefelt as the backup goaltender. Tampa Bay would finish with 85 points, a record of 38, 35, and 9. And Vasilevskiy is going to go 28, 28, and 7 this year with 2 shutouts, a 903, and a 304 goals against average. So a bit of a weaker year, and he's now down to 89 overall with 5 years remaining on that contract. The Florida Panthers would win the Stanley Cup this year, and once again, no hardware to be found for our guy Vasilevskiy. In year 6, the Bolts are looking, shall I say, more deep rather than front heavy. They got Tom Wilson now on that second line right wing as well, so a good pickup for them. Defense still looking all right, and Vasilevskiy will still be at 89 overall with Alnefelt as the backup. They would make it to the playoffs again here with 92 points and 43 wins on the year, finishing 3rd in the division. However, they'd finish 15th in the entire league. Although this is not the best place to finish, at least they are back in the playoffs and can contend. Vasilevskiy had a great year, 65 games played, 38 wins, 22 losses, and 3 overtime losses, a 910 and 283. Putting him back up to 90 overall. The Stanley Cup would go to the New Jersey Devils this year, and despite having a great season, Vasilevskiy would be going home with no hardware yet again, and the Tampa Bay Lightning were eliminated in the conference finals in just 5 games to the New Jersey Devils. The Bolts lineup starting to look a little bit different here. They got Konechny on the second line center, Christian Fischer on the right wing, and Stamkos is now down to the third line. Defense looking all right, and Vasilevskiy still at 90 overall, so he's still holding his own. Tampa Bay, however, finishes with 41 wins, 35 losses, and 6 overtime losses for a total of 88 points, finishing 6th in their division. The offense, once again, not putting up the numbers that you would really expect them to. Kucherov with the most at 73. So not getting it done offensively. Vasilevskiy, though, playing 67 games, 32 wins, 26 losses, and 5 overtime losses, a 907 and 279 goals against average. So truthfully, not a bad season for Vasilevskiy, who has 3 years left on that $8 million deal. Edmonton's going to win the Stanley Cup, but no hardware for Vasilevskiy. What a shocker. Stamkos is now down to an 83 overall on the third line, and the team is sort of losing its complete star power. However, they do have some depth. Vasilevskiy still a net 90 overall, with Lieb as the backup at 79 overall. The Tampa Bay Lightning finished with 82 points, 37, 37, and 8 for 6th in the Atlantic Division. Obviously not making the playoffs with a record like that. Vasilevskiy 27, 30, and 7, a 902 and 314. So not the greatest year from Vasilevskiy, who is now down to an 88 overall. And here are his career totals up till this point. A 912 save percentage and a 275 goals against average. Pretty solid up till now. The Dallas Stars win the Stanley Cup, and would you believe it? Nope, there's nothing here. Nothing to be seen. In year 9, the Bolts started to get some star power back up front there with some growth from last season, and they still got a pretty deep lineup as well. Defense looking all right, and Vasilevskiy now down to 87 overall with Lieb hopping up to an 84 overall. Vasilevskiy on his final year of the $8.2 million contract. They would finish 5th in the Atlantic Division this year, however, with 36 wins, 38 losses, and 8 overtime losses, so they're still struggling to get a good record going. Vasilevskiy had an extremely poor performance this year with a sub-900 save percentage and a 318 goals against average, dropping all the way down to 81 overall. You hate to see it. 1 year left on the $8.2 million contract. Buffalo's going to win the Stanley Cup, and when it comes to awards, no, I don't think so. After that poor year and the final year of his contract, Vasilevskiy would sign in the T-Dot, who has overall a pretty good lineup here. And Vasilevskiy is back up to an 85 overall after signing with the Leafs. He signed a 1-year, $7.2 million contract. Get the cash bags. Toronto would make the playoffs, 91 points with 42 wins, finishing 5th in the Atlantic Division. So Vasilevskiy getting back into the playoff action. 67 games played with 32 wins, a 903 save percentage, and a 304 goals against average. So still a pretty high goals against average, but they made the playoffs. Buffalo is going to win the Stanley Cup. I think you already know the answer when it comes to awards at this point. Although Toronto did make it to the playoffs, they were eliminated in round 1, just 5 games to Ottawa. After his short 1-year stint with the Leafs, Vasilevskiy would sign with the Rangers here in year 11. He is now down to an 83 overall, so he's starting to decrease pretty drastically, and the Rangers had a miserable season with only 32 wins, 37 losses, and 13 overtime losses, finishing 7th in the Metro. Obviously not good enough for playoffs. Vasilevskiy, though, did pretty good. 24, 19, and 5, 918, 264. So overall, his stats, not so bad compared to the team as a whole, and he's up to 85 overall. He signed a 2-year, $4.7 million contract with the Rangers. The San Jose Sharks would win the Stanley Cup, and you betcha. Entering year 12, he would now be on the final year of his 2-year contract with the Rangers, so obviously not a big contract. The Rangers have an okay lineup here. Offensively, not the best. Vasilevskiy down to 83 overall once again, so he is kind of going back and forth here. It's like a roller coaster. The Rangers have another miserable season with 28 wins, finishing last in the Metropolitan Division. 21, 36, and 3 for Vasilevskiy. Sub 900 yet again, and north of 3 goals against average. Not great. The Ottawa Senators are your Stanley Cup champions, and I don't know why I continue to look at these awards. For the first time in this simulation, Vasilevskiy has dropped below 80 overall and has been assigned to the AHL affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks, the Rockford Ice Hogs, where he signed a 1-year, $1.5 million contract. The team had a bad year again, 38, 33, and 5 for 81 total points. Missing out on the playoffs yet again. Vasilevskiy finishing 26, 23, and 2, a 914, 254. So his stats were not so bad compared to the team. And even in the AHL, Vasilevskiy not going home with any hardware at all. I was pretty confident Vasilevskiy was going to retire after year 13, but nay, he is back at a 76 overall with the Manitoba Moose here in the AHL yet again, a 1-year, $800,000 contract. Vasilevskiy only playing 27 games, going 14, 8, and 1, a 920 save percentage, and a 218 goals against average, so his stats were pretty good, and then Vasilevskiy finally decided to call it quits. To put things into perspective, 488 wins would actually put Vasilevskiy just behind Roberto Luongo at 4th spot. Roberto Luongo currently has 489. So he actually did a lot better than I thought. Unfortunately, no Stanley Cups and also no awards really, but he retired with a 909 save percentage and a goals against average of 284. So one hell of a career for Andrei Vasilevskiy, and that's what EA thinks. In summary, according to EA Sports, Vasilevskiy will continue to have seasonal success. He will thrive in the season. However, when it comes to playoffs, the Lightning just won't be able to get it done, and nor will Vasilevskiy no matter what team he goes to. On top of this, from an individual trophy standpoint, it looks like Vasilevskiy is done. All right, his 2018-19 Vezina, that's it. Now, obviously, from an outside of simulation perspective, I see that as unlikely. Vasilevskiy is on a great Tampa Bay Lightning team, and he himself is a tremendous goaltender. But this is just a simulation. It was a fun experiment. And yeah, let me know if you want me to do another one of these and who you want up next. Also, Enemy 3. Think we're going to be doing a collab soon, so keep an eye out for that.